Good morning, everyone. I hope you slept well. Hope you had really nice dreams. I know I did. Dreams are good. It's so much fun. Now we're continuing on with the book of Genesis, going into chapter 3. And we were reminded that what happened before this was that God separated man and they became the yin and yang, duality of energies. Okay? I know. Oh, and they were naked and they weren't ashamed. They still don't have bodies yet. That's coming. Chapter 3, Now the serpent was cunning beyond any beast of the field that Hashem had made. And he said to the woman, Did perhaps God say, You shall not eat of any tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, Well, of the fruit of any tree in the garden we may eat. Of the fruit of the tree which is in the center of the garden, God has said, You shall neither eat of it nor touch it, lest you die. I wonder why she lied there. She kind of exaggerated. And some, lots of people exaggerated. Politicians exaggerate a little bit. So, or if you touch it, you shall die. Okay. And the serpent said to the woman, You will not surely die, for God knows that on the day that you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and bad. Wasn't everything that God made good? So the serpent says, Wrong things here, too. Eve exaggerated. The serpent exaggerated. Yeah. Said, You shall be like God, knowing good and evil. But God only knows what's good. Right? God is good. Everything that God made is good. Okay. And the woman perceived that the tree was good for eating, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable as a means of wisdom. And she took of its fruit and ate, and she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked, and they sewed together fig leaves and made themselves aprons. This is ridiculous. Now, look at this. Your eyes, the serpent said that your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing good and bad. God only knows good, so he exaggerated there. And the woman perceived that the tree was good for eating, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable as a means to wisdom. Are we really talking about a tree here? Or are we talking about an event? Is it really a tree? It's a symbol, right? This is an allegory. But it's a means to wisdom. A means to wisdom. It didn't say that, it'd be yummy. But it was a means to wisdom, to learn something new. It's not an apple. Stop saying it's an apple. Forbidden fruit? Perhaps. Or a choice when you're ready. So, and she took of the fruit and ate, and she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. Adam was there too, listening to this conversation between her and the serpent. So, you went on vacation. And you found this place, a big old huge sign that says free tickets to the shows. Just come and have a conversation with us for 4 freaking hours. And we'll give you free tickets to these shows. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, okay. So you sit down with this person, and they're the serpent, right? And they're talking to you, and they're like saying, oh, yeah, this is really, really a great idea. You know, this is, you'll be able to go on vacation wherever you want to, anywhere in the world. And it'll cost you less than if it would if you were to pay for it on your own. Because, see, look, we'll even do the math for you. Look, see how much less expensive it is for you? See? Oh. Yeah, well, if you really did the math, you'd find out that your $10,000 a year, you're never going to spend that on a vacation because you have to pay for your freaking vacation anyway. And you can't go when you want to. You got to go when they want to, when it's available, blah, blah, blah. So it turns out to be pretty bad. Anyway, that's similar to what's going on here. She's having a conversation with this guy that's selling up this big story. Hey, you get wisdom? You know good and evil, good and bad? You know that? You're going to be the smartest person in the world, man. You're going to have so much wisdom. People are going to think you're like God, man. Can you imagine that? You being like God. Forgetting that she already was. Came from that. Anyway. But here's the thing. This is actually a choice thing. How do I want to experience the rest of my life? You see, if I'm an eternal being and I want to live forever, which they had been up to this point, now I want something new. We don't know how long Adam and Eve were in the garden, or how long these entities were in the garden, or how long they had been in existence this way. But this is a created opportunity. This is an opportunity for those that are spiritually minded, eternal beings, could experience something that they can never experience as an eternal being. They can experience good and bad. They could experience death. So the things that go on from this point forward, we find that their eyes were opened and they realized they were naked, and they sewed together a fig leaf to make themselves aprons. Remember, they didn't have bodies yet. But they decided that being naked, exposing themselves, having their rays and their energy fields going out everywhere, was a bad thing. Okay. Then they heard the sound of Hashem manifesting itself in the garden towards the evening. They heard a sound of Hashem, God, manifesting himself in the garden. There was nothing there. There was a sound, and then there was the appearance of this thing. I know. Star Trek. Okay. And they heard the sound of Hashem God manifesting itself in the garden towards the evening, and the man and his wife hid from Hashem God among the trees of the garden. And Hashem God called out to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I am naked, so I hid." And God said the most profound thing in the Bible. "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from of the tree of which I commanded you not to eat?" And man said, "Well, the woman that you gave me, she's the one that made me. She talked me into it. She's the one that had all this stuff. She threatened me. She was going to kill me if I didn't eat it. It was horrible. It's because of you. If you wouldn't have given her to me, I wouldn't be, and we wouldn't be in the house." Yeah. She gave it to me, and I did eat. Mm-hmm. And Hashem God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done? The serpent deceived me, and I did eat." And Hashem said, "Well, because you have done that, you will be cursed beyond all cattle and beyond all beasts of the field, and upon your belly shall you go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring, and he will pound your head, and you will bite his heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly increase your suffering in childbearing. In pain you shall bear children. Yet your craving shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you." To Adam he said, "Because you listened to the voice of your wife and ate of the tree about which I commanded you, saying, 'You shall not eat of it,' accursed is the ground because of you. Through suffering you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall sprout for you, and you shall eat of the herb of the field. By the sweat of your brow shall you eat bread until you return to the ground from which you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return." And man called his wife's name Eve, because she had become the mother of all living. She had become the mother of all living. Mm-hmm. And Hashem God made Adam and Eve, Adam and his wife, garments of skin, and he clothed them. Ta-da! Now that they're leaving the Garden of Eden, they will no longer be exposing their spiritual essence to the world. This is where God put the spark of God inside flesh. This is where we got bodies. And Hashem made for Adam and his wife garments of skin. Baba. And he clothed them. And Hashem God said, "Behold, man has become like the unique one among us." knowing good and bad. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. So Hashem God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the soil from which he was taken. And having driven out the man, he stationed at the east of the Garden of Eden the cherubim and the flame of the ever-turning sword to guard the way to the tree of life. Behold, man has become like the unique one among us. Interesting. Man has become like the unique one among us. Interesting. Now, a lot of people look at this as the curse, but really, actually, it was a manual. It was, well, you know, if this, then that. Okay? If you want to stay in the Garden of Eden, you can not go that way. Stay away from that. But when you're ready, you can take this path, taste of the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, do this act, do this thing to confirm that this is really, really what you want to do, and this is what your life will be like. You'll till the ground. You know, all the blessings that we got in the Garden of Eden, we never lost those. We'd forgotten. And you can see how the further away that Adam got from in time, got away from the experience of the Garden of Eden, that's when his life started to deteriorate. And others. See, as we got further away from the time, the lifespan of humanity decreased. But we never lost it. We never lost the ability to do those things. Thoughts become things. They always have. The world that you live in right now, the experiences that you're having in your life right now, are all a creation from you. Take responsibility for them. Wake up tomorrow and have a new day. But the act of creation we've never lost. We've always had it. See? It's understanding that your connection with God is that which empowers those things to come into being. And you can practice this. People have practiced it for thousands of years, and it works. You see? So you have to do this. So now we know when we got bodies, it was after the tasting of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or good and bad, how they sought it here. It was after that, and when we left paradise, the Garden of Eden. And when you think about it, there's no other way that we could experience this existence without bodies. Bodies is what enables us to experience it. Couldn't do it before. All right. Swirl that around in your noodle for a while. And until we meet again, I wish you well.